If you just tell me when you want me to start, that'll be fine.
Okay, I think we're good to start, everyone.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name's Ian Brown. I work for Dell in the Unstructured Data Solutions division. I'm going to run through probably about just over a dozen slides this morning, probably around about 20 minutes worth, just going through a particular technology called Isilon, which is being used to address a large part of the what we would call unstructured data market today. So firstly, I suppose just to sort of set the scene, Dell and Intel commissioned to do a survey last year around what was happening in terms of, I suppose, digital transformation in terms of what companies were looking to do, where were they on that journey, and really surprising results of that 60% of GDP really by 2022 we would sort of classify as sort of digital. And you've got companies at the extreme like Amazon, Netflix, Uber, who I suppose have sort of set the benchmark in terms of that digital journey, and you could sort of say they've arrived in terms of where they do their business and things like that. And really what the insight gave was them companies who have really embraced, I suppose, the digital transformation, are driving their revenues up by over 30%. They're driving down operational costs, and they're really twice as profitable as their peers who haven't really started on that digital transformation journey. So, you know, we're seeing it, and I think, you know, what's happening today in terms of people working from home and things like that, and the way we're engaging with customers, I think that whole digital transformation is only just going to accelerate moving forward. So what does that mean for companies today? Really, what it means is there's just a huge increase in the amount of data that companies are generating. I mean, you know, we're just seeing it there. I think they're talking about 175 zettabytes, just a massive. And basically, most of this data is what we would classify as unstructured data. So, you know, we classify maybe unstructured data into three sort of broad segments. Filed, which is what we're going to talk about today and how we address the requirements for file. Object, a lot more data these days is really being, I suppose, stored as object, whether it's going into the big cloud providers. And then there's an evolving data set, which is really what we classify as streams. And you can imagine that is like you've got a sensor. Maybe that sensor was maybe sending data 1 minute a day or whatever. What's happening now a lot of is sensors are actually always on. So if you imagine like autonomous cars and things like that, they're going to be always feeding back data. And really what that is, we're classifying that as sort of like stream data. And that's going to lead to a massive increase in that sort of requirement moving forward. But today we're going to just sort of focus on file data and how Dell addresses that with the Isilon platform. Again, just really sort of setting the scene. The data to the left, like databases, email, virtualized data sets, that's typically sitting in block storage and is really growing by about 8 to 10% a year. And, you know, we would say organizations have a good handle on that, pretty much know how to manage it, being dealt with today. Where we're coming in is this unstructured data, and that can be, you know, your home directories, your archiving data, data from artificial intelligence, life sciences, across a number of different sectors, finance, media, entertainment. That's what we're classifying as unstructured data. And that's really growing by about 50% per year. And that's where companies are really having the challenge today, is how are we going to deal with all these new data sets that are growing, you know, 50% plus per year. And that's the challenge that we're addressing with the Isilon platform today. Just got in the Magic Quadrant. I mean, just to sort of say where's Dell with the Isilon top we're in the top right hand corner, and we've been there for the last 4 years plus. So we are the market leading platform within Scaleout NAS today, and we're also the market leading platform in Object today as well. Just to set the scene a little bit on Isilon. Isilon is a platform, as a technology. It's been around about for 20 years, so it's not new. It's been out there for 20 years. It was acquired by EMC 10 years ago, and as I say, is the leading Scaleout platform available today. The expectation is that I think it's 2022, 2023, it will be the largest storage platform within the Dell portfolio, generating revenues of around about $3 billion a year. So you see, large platform, a lot of R&D goes into this platform as well. So what I suppose really, what's our focus? What are we trying to do with this platform? And really where we're into, I think there's three key things that we're focused on. We're about being able to deliver a platform which is unbounded by scale. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've got this platform today, Isilon. Literally, you can start out from a few terabytes, tens of terabytes, but you can scale the platform up to literally hundreds and hundreds of petabytes. So it's a massive scalability. That's where you're able to go today, and customers are demanding, we need you to go bigger because of just the amount of data we want to store on this little platform is just becoming more and more and more. And then the other thing, what we've launched this year, which you get with the platform free, is really a product called Data IQ. And really what it is, the customers are saying, look, we've got all this data, we're storing it on the platform, we want to know more about the data. For example, how many files have we got? What sizes are the files? Have we got duplicates of the files? When were the files last accessed? So people are saying we want to get data insights into the data itself. So we've got that capability today with their Data IQ, which I say is available with the platform you get free. And then also what customers are saying is, I traditionally maybe have had these platforms and I store them on, have them platforms on premises, but also I want to have maybe the capabilities, the functionality of the Isilon platform, but I maybe want to put it into a cloud provider. So for example, you can buy Isilon today from Google and have that platform sitting in their data centers. You're going to be able to do the same with Microsoft Azure and other people as well. So we've got really that platform, that functionality with Isilon. You're going to be able to have it on-prem, or you're going to be able to have it into the cloud, whatever you want, wherever you want, really. So just a little bit around traditional NAS and really what Isilon brings in terms of being a scale-out platform. So traditional NAS, I'm sure you're very familiar with. You typically have dual controller architecture. You've got two controllers. They may be active passive or typically today they're active active. And then you've got trays of disks underneath them. And if you want to add more capacity, typically what you do is you just add more disk capacity, more trays of disks. And that's fine, but what you typically find is as you add capacity, the performance tails off of that system. So then maybe you're buying another system because you want more performance, you're sort of spreading the workload along. It can be multiple volumes to manage using RAID. So the efficiency of that sort of traditional dual controller architecture is around about 50–55% of raw to utilized. So not particularly efficient. And as I say, as you start scaling up, the performance goes down, which is not an ideal situation. So what's Isilon? Isilon is completely different from that traditional architecture. It's what we call a scale-out architecture. So it's based on nodes. And really the principle around it is, as you add more nodes to add more capacity, you're also adding more compute RAM. So you're actually increasing the performance of that system in a linear manner. And that's one of the things that really customers like about the Isilon platform. As you're adding the capacity, you're adding performance to that system as well. You can literally keep adding capacity, adding nodes as you go, and currently you can scale from a few nodes initially all the way up to 250 nodes-ish today. It is a single volume, so it's a lot easier to manage. It gives predictable performance. So that's pretty much traditional versus Isilon sort of scale-out architecture today. So really, what is Isilon? Getting into it a little bit more. I mean, you can imagine these nodes are really like a server. So each node, you've got some CPU, you've got some RAM, and you've got some sort of disk capacity. That disk can be SSD, NVMe, or HDD, depending on what you want, whether you want sort of high performance or you want basically low cost capacity. You've got the OneFS operating system to manage that. And basically, as I say, you can add capacity, add nodes to the system as you go, non-disruptively in an easy manner. So to connect all the nodes together, you've got a back-end network, which basically manages the traffic, manages the communication between the nodes, and then the nodes just connect to your network, and that can be 10, 25 gig, whatever network connectivity you want. And the system is sort of multi-protocol, so whether it's NFS, SMB, HDFS, S3, so it's multi-protocol. That's one of the things customers like about it, is you can write data into it via SMB, but then you can access that data via NFS. So there's a multi-protocol platform which gives that flexibility. So there again, you can sort of see it a little bit more. You've got the Isilon nodes, as I say, you've got the compute, you've got the disk capacity within them nodes, and they're connected by back-end switches. You've got 2 for redundancy, and then that system then sits on your network. Very easy to manage. You've got a GUI, CLI for easy administration, and you literally can just add nodes in a non-disruptive manner. Tell the system you've added extra nodes to it, and what the system will do is actually automatically spread the data you've got in the system across a new capacity as well. So you've got no hotspots or anything like that, but the system does that automatically for you, so you're not having to manage LUNs or anything like that. Very easy to manage, very easy to add additional capacity. And whereas before in a typical dual controller system, you may be getting a utilization around about 55, 60%. On Isilon, you're typically going to get a utilization of 80% plus. So you're really being able to use more of that capacity that you're buying. So this is a sort of the range we've got today. Bottom left-hand corner, you've got what we call archive nodes. So these would typically have 12, 16 terabyte static drives in the system, and literally within 4U, you can get 4 nodes within 4U. You can get over a petabyte of capacity in that system. As I say, you can add nodes in 2 nodes increments, and you can literally scale that system up to 250 nodes. Top right-hand corner, you've got what we call F800s, F810s. These are very high performance nodes where you typically can get over 250,000 IOPS within the 4 node system. Now, one of the nice things about Isilon is what you can do is you can have a mixture of nodes within a cluster, because typically maybe you want some performance nodes, so you put them in, and that could be something like H500 that you see in the middle. But then what you maybe have is you have aged data over time. So maybe you don't need that data sitting on the performance nodes. So what you can do is you can use some of the software capabilities of the system and just move that data down towards your archive nodes. So the data is still within the cluster. The users still sort of see their data within that system, but it's been moved down to lower cost, less performance storage. But it's been done automatically by the system for you. So again, basically very easy to do, all automated for you. What we're just about to announce in the next week is some new introductory smaller Isilon nodes, again using SSD or NVMe. So really high performance, but entry level, where literally you're going to be able to start deploying Isilon systems for a few terabytes. So they're going to be announced in the next week or so. They're just so you know, if you use Dell servers, they're going to be based on Dell PowerEdge server technology. As you would expect with a sort of platform like Isilon, you've got software capabilities to, for example, automate the movement of data within the cluster. That's called smart pools. You've got the capability to replicate from one Isilon system to another for business continuity, sync IQ. So you've got lots of software functionality that enterprises desire these days from a sort of storage array. And then this is really, I think, why Isilon's been really successful in that it's not just one use case. I've got customers who are using it for multiple use cases. So one of the very popular use cases today is around home directories. And what we found is about 98% of sort of file home directory sort of type use cases, workloads is still remaining on-prem. So Isilon is used a lot for that. You can also use it for things like the cold storage for Splunk, Hadoop analytics. You can also use it as a target for backup applications where maybe you've got the backup application doing the dedupe and doing that, and all you want is easy to deploy, easy to scale, low cost storage. Isilon archive nodes are ideal for that. So you can see there really in terms of it can be just used for multiple use cases. So we've typically got customers who maybe buy it for one use case, maybe like home directories initially, and then they're going, right, yeah, great, we can see the use of it, how easy it is to manage and use. What we'll do is we'll put other workloads onto the system, and they just keep adding to the cluster, growing it over time. So I mean that just is a very quick introductory into Isilon as a platform. So as I say, it's really used to address the file requirements customers have today. We've also got ACS, which is used for object storage, whether that can be on-prem or off-prem. And then we've got other products which are used for streaming data, which we've got a product called Manichaea. So we've got that today. So we've got a full portfolio for unstructured data, but really for file data, Isilon would be the main platform we talk to customers about today. So that's, as I say, just run through about a dozen slides on the Isilon platform. Is there any sort of questions around that?
Ian, I've not got any questions in so far, so it sounds like you've done quite a good job in explaining Isilon there, which is good. I will throw it out there to anyone. If anyone does have any questions off the back of this in the next couple of minutes, if you wanted to put them in, that'd be great. We've also got a couple of other guys from the team here as well. Was there anyone else that had any questions on our side or anything they wanted to field to Ian?
Ian, hi.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg. If a customer's got multiple data sets trapped in silos, what would be the best approach to maybe do some discovery work in terms of harnessing what data could be in those silos?
I mean, we've got, as I say, one of the products we've got around giving insight into data is Data IQ. So that actually will run on any NAS device. So we've got a lot of customers who are looking to run Data IQ just to really, I suppose, analyze what data they've got, because I think the silos of information, what customers have realized is they've maybe got multiple copies of the same file, for example. So, if you can eliminate them multiple copies of the same file, you're reducing the amount of storage you've got, you're making the environment easier to manage, and you ultimately, you need less storage. So a lot of customers are using things like Data IQ just to give them a handle on what data they've got there today, to then decide what data they're going to maybe consolidate onto an Isilon platform.
Thanks, Ian.
Brilliant. We've still got no questions filtering through, Ian, so it sounds like you've done quite a good job in covering it off there, so that's brilliant, and thank you very much for doing so. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Ian, before we bring that point to a close?
I mean, just if you have got challenges around your file data, your unstructured data, love the opportunity to have a conversation with you and talk to you in a little bit more detail around Isilon, what we can do with that platform. But as I say, we've got other platforms as well, like ACS for object storage. And just love to have the conversation and continue the conversation with you. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And of course, if anyone does have any questions following this, whether it's live or you're watching this back as a recording, please do get in contact with us. We'd be happy to set up those conversations as well and see how we can support in partnership with Dell Technologies to ensure that your storage requirements are met. I will also add that as you hopefully aware, ACS have been running weekly webinars throughout this time. We have a couple coming up in the next couple of weeks. We have Shaping Britain's Full Fibre Strategy, which is next week on Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday we have Sync and Work Offline with SharePoint, OneDrive and Teams. So if you'd like to register for any of those sessions, see the schedule of sessions that we have up, or you'd like to view any of our previous topics that we've recorded over the last few weeks, please do log on to www.acs365.co.uk/webinars. That brings today's topic to a close. As I say, if anyone's got any questions, do get in touch touch with us. But other than that, thank you very much all for joining. I hope everyone enjoys the lovely weather that we've got outside today and gets a chance to make the most of that sun. And look forward to seeing you again at a webinar in the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.